the chairman of the Educational Program Committee, it is my duty, with the help of the committee members, to find experts in different scientific subjects worldwide and bring them to our GCEA events. I had the privilege to see one of Ana Carolina's presentations in a webinar about quality, and I invited her to participate in our GCEA Technology Snapshots. So it is my pleasure to introduce her here in this technology snapshot with the title Quality Control for Medical Devices. I will just tell you how the expertise from Carolina. She has a degree in electrical engineering, a master's degree in biomedical engineering, post-graduation in hospital administration, an MBA in health technology management, and she is an international quality specialist in health and patient safety. So it is my pleasure to introduce Ana Carolina, and Ana, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thanks, Professor Khalil, for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here. Today, I'll talk about quality as a safe strategy for clinical engineering. Let me share my screen. At first, I would like to talk about some concepts so we can understand better what we're going to talk about quality. The first concept is quality. From the Latin qualitas, the word quality has the subjective concept that is linked to attributes, values, needs, perceptions, results, and excellence that directly involves customer satisfaction. Quality, according to ISO, is the adequacy and conformity of the requirements that the standard itself and customers have established. In other words, quality is the level of perfection of a process, of a service, or of a product delivered by your institution. The organization reaches such a level of excellence that it meets the needs of patients or clients and exceeds their expectations. We usually talk about patient experience and patient in the center of his or her own care, and how both of them are related to quality. Our institutions must have conformity in quality criteria, but also must listen to the patient needs. So quality is the first concept I'm bringing for this presentation. Safety. Safety refers to potential risks and unintended results which can be avoided or minimized. The World Health Organization defines the concept of patient safety as reducing the risk of unnecessary harm associated with healthcare to an acceptable minimum. The word safety has several meanings, depending on your point of view. In general terms, it's a set of measures that aims to protect risks, dangers, or losses to people or things. The last concept I bring here is clinical engineer. As defined by the American College of Clinical Engineering, the clinical engineer is a professional who applies and develops engineering knowledge and management practices to health technologies to improve patient care. The Brazilian Association of Clinical Engineering defines clinical engineer is the professional who applies engineering techniques to the management of healthcare equipment, with the focus on ensuring the traceability, usability, quality, efficacy, effectiveness, safety, and performance of this equipment, with the objective of promoting patient safety. So when we talk about the concept of clinical engineer, we are faced with some concepts like quality, safety, and other concepts very useful as quality terms that we will study later in this presentation. So if we're going back to the topic of the presentation, quality as a safe strategy for clinical engineering. bring some tools here some tools that are related to quality that help managers and operational people as well. So I bring here process mapping, risk matrix, and indicators. Process mapping is a tool that can be used to organize the institution, to identify all the tasks each process performs, and how processes connect with each other. When the institution decides to map their process, in the beginning, nobody likes, but later on, they say that it was really important to make them understand where the problems were, where the gaps were, and how each process related to each other. Risk matrix. Risk matrix is used after we identify our risks involved with our process. So, first, we mapping our process, and after we will identify the risks that are involved in that process. After identifying the risks, it's important to analyze them in terms of probability and severity, like is shown in the risk matrix. This matrix will help you to understand the characteristics of each risk and how to prevent the risk. Indicators are really important to give us directions, to make us think and analyze the problem, to come up with a solution. If we don't measure what we do, we can't analyze it. But be careful about the indicators you choose, because they need to be useful, interesting for your management, for your decisions. Sometimes we use indicators for a long time, and when we stop to analyze, they are not useful for us more. So it's important to analyze frequently the indicators, and it's important to choose the correct indicator that will help you to make decisions. So, when we talk about quality, we have to think about the 7 pillars of quality, the 7 pillars from Dunabedian. Dr. Avedis Dunabedian is considered one of the forerunners of quality in healthcare. He was the one who created the 7 pillars of quality that healthcare management must pay attention to in order to guarantee excellence in the services provided to patients. So the 7 pillars are efficacy, efficiency, effectiveness, optimization, acceptability, legitimacy, and equity. Let's study each one of them. Efficacy. Efficacy consists of doing something that must be done, but in the best possible way for the present moment. Do the best with the existing conditions. So, when you talk about efficacy, there is no reason to say, I can't do something. As a leader in your institution, you have to make changes, even if this change is not as good as you'd like it to be. You have to make changes with the resource you have now, with the structure you have now, with the people you have now. This is efficacy. So sometimes we can't buy the new model of a pulmonary ventilator, but the one you can buy is better than the one the institution has now. So we have to think, sometimes we don't have the best one, but we can buy another one that's better than we have now, and it will be good for the institution as well. That's efficacy. Efficiency. Efficiency is directly related to cost. Example, imagine two institutions that perform the same procedure, such as an obstetric appointment. But in one of them, there is an ultrasound device available that makes the patient's journey a little faster. Thus, although both institutions are effective for the result, that is, checking the baby and maternal health, the first one is more efficient because it does the same thing in less time. When we say efficiency, we have to think about costs. Efficiency is related to costs. So we have to do our best, but always thinking about costs. If the cost related to this action will bring benefits, so it's okay to spend some money on that. Why do we have to buy the best tomograph, the last generation, if we need it just to plan radiotherapy? So we have to think about costs and where this equipment will be used. Effectiveness. Being effective is basically being able to achieve your goal. Effectiveness is directly related to the result. When a leader is effective, they drive their team to achieve the organization's goals as well as their own. In this way, an effective leader will certainly be able to make professionals more effective and better prepared to face challenges. In short, being effective is doing what needs to be done. If you take a medicine to get rid of a headache and it achieves this goal, that medicine can be said to be effective. Effectiveness is the ability to produce and maintain an effect. For an institution to maintain the desirable effects, it needs to invest in process mapping, which will help to understand the points of failure in order to correct them. Once I bring some example. Once I was asked about a phototherapy that was not working well in an institution because the baby with the jaundice was not getting better, and the director wanted to buy a new phototherapy. I analyzed the case, and the problem, of course, was the quality of the lamps. We changed the lamps at the same time for lamps with better quality, and next day the baby was discharged. I was thinking in this situation in the result and the better solution for that institution and, of course, for that babe and mom. Optimization, saving time spent on unnecessary activities and maximizing time spent on what is really important, is the principle of optimization. But to understand which activities are necessary and which are not, it's important to analyze each activity. This criteria analysis will bring to your institution lots of valuable information. And I bring here two tools that can help your institution to analyze each activity and where are the gaps, where are the problems, where are the activities that are unnecessary. Then you can check value stream map and lean healthcare. Value stream map is a tool from lean healthcare, but in lean healthcare philosophy, you have many other tools that can help you in this work, okay? Acceptability, characteristic or status of what is acceptable, quality of what can be accepted, admissibility. This pillar concerns the patient's autonomy and their own expectations about care. Acceptability is directly related to patients, their autonomy, their expectations, their choices. We have to hear our our patients. Legitimacy. Legitimacy is achieved when the quality of the service makes the institution become a reference for both its workers and society as a whole. Legitimacy is related to the institution itself, institution image related to what society feels about the service provided there. Equity. Equity, it concerns the maintenance of quality in the provision of care for all individuals, without distinction of race, creed, or socioeconomic status. Equity consists in the adaptation of the existing rule to the concrete situation, observing the criteria of justice. It can be said, then, that equity adapts the rule to a specific case in order to make it fairer. The image shows the difference between equality and equity. Equality occurs when I give the same thing, provide the same service to everyone. Equity occurs when I give something or provide the service that each person needs. So this image shows us that if we bring the same bike for all of those 4 people, we provide equality. But in this case, for the child, this bike it's big. For the woman, the bike's okay. For the man, the bike's small. And for the person in a wheelchair, it's impossible to ride. But when we think about equity, we will provide them the bike that will be better for them. So for the child, we'll give the small bike. For the woman, okay. For the man, a big one. And for the person in a wheelchair, we'll bring her adapted bike. This is equity. So, if we go back to the beginning of our presentation, quality as a safe strategy for clinical engineering. If we practice in our work as a clinical engineering, if we think and practice efficacy, efficiency, that goes to effectiveness, plus optimization, plus acceptability, plus legitimacy, plus equity, and all the 7 pillars, if we add process mapping, risk matrix, and indicators, if we work if we work with those tools, we will provide patient security. That's what I would like to bring to you in this presentation. It's important to bring those tools. It's important for reflection and to work with them. So if we work with those tools, we can provide better service, we can provide service with more quality, and we will have, at the end, the patient security. Those are the bibliographical reference. And I always bring a phrase from someone important at the end of the presentation for our reflection. The secret of quality is love. The secret of everything is love. But if we work and thinking, work with love, thinking, impatient, try to have empathy for patient, for the nurses, for the doctors, and all the team, the healthcare team. We will do our work better and with quality, of course. Those are my social media. If you like to get in contact, please get in contact with me. It will be a pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity. It was really a pleasure to be here, and I hope I make a difference in your work life. Thank you.